literally 7 minutes. I would like guidance from the court. I had prepared to argue for 45 minutes per comment. It's going to be very difficult, but I will stick to your 15 minutes, Your Lordship. It's not your fault, it's ours. Your Lordship, there are 4 topics that I thought I should help the court with. One, I'm going to be brief about it because there is no controversy. The first one is the history as it relates to passing off as a common law action. The second one really is passing off itself as a legal concept. What exactly is it? And how does this case fit in it? And then I was going to deal with the abuse of process flowing from there, but I think I won't bore the court with that. My learned friend, I think, dealt with it. But to the extent that I can address the court on these 4, let me start with what I think I can do in the time I have. But there are 2 domains of law we're dealing with. And this difficulty that you see is because we're in the domain of Section 19 rights, which are political rights. And there are consumer rights, or what you would call Section 22 rights. Those are the 2 domains. It's addressed better in the jurisdiction point, but I just thought I should raise that for the court to assist the court. I cannot take you far, but I'm going to take your lordship to the authority that says, when we get to passing off, what that says, you cannot, because of the difficulty you've seen my 3 learned friends debating, not knowing where they are about which battlefield are we in. And that authority, it's in Webster and Page. It actually tells us, it's an old English case. It says that is why this confusion you see, that is why passing off that action is difficult and unsuitable for cases of a political nature. It's a case of kin. I'm gonna have to give to your lordship. Let me just. You will have to really bear with me. It's difficult to squash what I was to do in the time I have. I just can't. Anyway, what that case tells you, I'll get to it, because it's about when I reach passing off. But let me start with my first topic of the history, to the extent that in introducing passing off, my learned friend made an attempt to describe the history of Umkhonto-weSizwe. And I do this briefly because there is no dispute about what it was. And no one can tell us that the ANC was not associated with MK, and no one can tell this court that the ANC was not to give political direction to alliance partners in Umkhonto-weSizwe when it started. But of course, history gets lost, my lord, in the wicked wit of lawyers and politicians, and history disappears. It's true that the ANC has played a very dominant role in giving political direction in the struggle in the 60s. And if you periodize it, it's the only way you're going to understand this, is to periodize the history of the ANC, even starting before it was formed to 1910, 1949 when it radicalized the youth, and 1955 when the Congress of Democrats and other parties come in, and then it leads you to 1961, because it's a different kind of radicalization of a decision by those alliance partners, not one, by all of them, to create an army. And it's not an army, if you look at the manifesto, it's the army of the people, founded on the basis that the settler colonial state at the time had become brutal and violent, and it sought to defend them. And my learned friend says, you've always known that the ANC controls the MK. Well, that's of no moment. Everyone who's involved was a South African knows that for each alliance there's a political leader, there's political leadership. And one of the distinguishing features of Umkhonto we Sizwe was two things. One, it was not a regular army. Two, it was preceded by a group of people, South Africans, they call them combatants drawn from the people, who would independently defend people in different places in order to defend, not the ANC, to defend the people and the struggle against the colonial, settler, racist state. And all of these parties were important. I'm saying that summary, and I'll say your lordship must look at the manifesto because the ANC has quoted it and it's correct. Where my learned friend gets it wrong, he uses non-legal terms. It belongs. No one can deny that the ANC had a head, and I think you'll find that in paragraph 33 of the replying affidavit of the ANC. It's correct. No one should stand in this course and deny what the ANC was in the struggle within its alliance partners that formed this. So to the extent that here was an army that was a guerrilla army to defend people, the second aspect of it was that it was an army that fought what they called, and it's in the manifesto, in the code, a people's war. And it's for that reason, as I close, that my learned friend talks about the fact that at some point there were divisions about whether or not it was the right move. It's because this, you look at the manifesto of Umkhonto we Sizwe, you look at its oath, it tells you this was a calculated, noble move by a group of people, not in the ANC, but in the Alliance Congress, to support a struggle that was waged and led by the ANC. And in that way, that kind of political control, which is correct because it sought to give direction, so that all combatants fall within the political prescripts of a particular ideological line. It was correct, but it does not translate to exclusive ownership, which is what trademarks and passing off are about. Let me then move. We don't have time to know what MK was because I think we all agree. If your lordship can look at paragraph 19.3 of the answering affidavit, you will see that what we're dealing with there is, I may be wrong about, but at that paragraph states, I think it's 19.3 or 19.20. I'm gonna find it now, my lord. 117. It's the paragraph to which the ANC replies in paragraph 33. I just don't want to page around, but it's there. No, my lord, it's not this one. Can I come back to you? I'll give you the specific, but it's probably 19.17. I'll find it, but I'll tell you the gist of the two. One paragraph in the answering affidavit of Umkhonto we Sizwe says that this was not formed by one organization. It was a multi-organizational endeavor. Yeah, no, it's fine. I'll come back to it. I don't think it's that. No. In paragraph 33 of the ANC's answer, reply to that,